Oh, so I have like 50 plates of samosa, no, small chops to do for someone. Like that someone is my boss in the office. I'm a civil servant though, but I was into this small chops thing before I got this job. Come on, I went to school, man. I'm a graduate. I'm a master degree holder, so I need to settle my certificates. So that's just the process. I just chop my vegetables in tiny little pieces. And for the meat, I love to do my meat myself, like to grind my meat myself because sometimes when you just go to this public grinder, you don't know how long they've watched, like they've been using that thing without washing it. So I just don't want it. So I love to do this by myself. Look at me grinding the meat. This is a Kenwood meat grinder. It gives me a whole lot of relief while I'm doing it by myself, because I know that what I'm doing is safe, it's neat, it's hygienic. So the first thing that I do when it comes to the feelings is I put a little bit of oil. Why? Is because you don't want your the fillings to soak into the skin and make it to become soggy and so soft. So I do this first, the carrots and the onions, and I bring it out, then I pour my meat. Reason is because I want my vegetables to be very, crunchy and fresh. So I just do this, pour in the grinded meats, put in some salt, my spices, and my Maggi cube, and let it to cook for a little while. Okay, so when it's cooked for a little while, the next thing I do there is just to pour in the carrots and the onions. They are fried for a little bit. Then my green pepper and the bonnet peppers that I also add to this. And voila, I just turn this thing to incorporate so nicely, and I bring it down from the fire. And that's it. But meanwhile, I've already, mixed. No, no, let me tell you something about what I'm doing right now. So I love to pour this into a sieve because it's just going to drain out the little water that is still remaining in the fillings there, the meat. Sometimes you just do these things, and if you pour it into a bowl plate, the water is going to be underneath it, and you don't want it that way. But if you pour it into the sieve, it's just going to drain out the little water that is still remaining inside of it. Then this is the fillings. That is the spring roll, the dough. Now, what am I going to say? What am I saying? Like, this is the batter for the samosa filling. So this is the pan that, when it comes to me making my samosa skin, I have a non-stick pan that helps me a lot to get what I want. It's not a particular, non-stick pan that I use for my spring rolls. That's what I'm using for my samosa. No, it's not. So this is just there. I just wanted to see that. And look at the long strips. I love to do this long strip samosa because I'll need to fold, so that when you're eating a samosa, you just don't eat meat. You eat something that is going to be crispy and crunchy. Okay, so that's just it. But there's something that I want to tell you. I have a trick that I do sometimes. If you want to fry your samosa and you didn't charge much for this job, or rather you're not being paid much for this job, sometimes I go for a cheaper oil. Okay, cheaper oil. This cheaper oil, what it's going to do for me is, once I'm done using this cheap oil to fry this, small chops, please don't just keep it aside, like you just keep it, cover it up and keep it in the kitchen. No, when you cover it up, please put it in the fridge. I'm telling you, when you put it in the fridge, when you use a cheap oil like severally, sometimes it develops this taste that you don't want. But if you put it in the fridge, I'm telling you, even if you use that cheap oil like 4 times using it to fry, that taste, you will never get it. So it's a trick that I'm teaching you today on how I manipulate, my work when it comes to my customers, because you don't need to say no that you're not going to do this because that person is not paying you very well. Okay, so that's just it. That person's just going to eat this thing and enjoy it and say it's okay, it's perfect, and that's it. Okay, so that is just the hack and the trick that I just taught you how to do. Put it in the fridge, cover it up, put it in the fridge. Nothing is going to happen to that oil when you use it the second time. Very fresh in that. Okay, so that's just it for today on making samosa with orange. So it was too much for the filling was too much for the skin, because when it's too much, it tends to rip the skin, and you don't want that. Okay, just remove a little bit so that you can fold it, and it's gonna rip the skin. But when it does and you put it into the hot oil, it might just spill all over your hot oil, and you don't want that at all, or do you? I believe you don't want that. So you just rub this, what I use as my binder is flour and water to mix, and you just rub it and bind it, and that's it. Voila for you. Look at how beautiful it's looking. And that's the 50 pieces of samosa. And the next thing you go and see is the job. So look at it. So I covered the event. It was samosa, spring rolls, puff puff, and have a nice day, y'all. I love you. Bye.